Today is the final homily in our four-part series on life. We've tried to explain why euthanasia is morally wrong, but actually the overall theme is that life is good. God gives life, He loves life, and we should celebrate life even when it's difficult. Today, as we discuss abortion, we want to focus on God the Father's mercy. We want to help mothers who are in difficult circumstances. We want to offer mercy to the preborn babies to protect their lives. We also want to offer God's mercy to anyone who's ever been involved in abortion. For any of you who don't know, we've already had 3 people here in our parish family. They've shared their own stories of being involved in an abortion, God's healing. So it's really been a beautiful grace. So I just want to offer that so that we really know that God forgives us. He wants to forgive every sin. Our goal today is that as many of us as possible will sign up for 40 Days for Life so that God's mercy reaches people maybe they've never encountered it, so we can spread it. As mentioned, for the past 3 weeks now, we've done this for 4 years. Today we're going to show some graphic photos and one video of abortion. And we're doing that just so that we know, what is it really about? Like, what does abortion really do? So my apologies if this catches you by surprise. If you haven't been here for the past 3 weeks, sorry, but this is again something we've always done. And I'll give you another warning before we show the actual images. So please feel free, if you don't want to see them, close your eyes, feel free to look down. And parents, again, definitely feel free if you want your children to look down, close their eyes, please do so. It's your choice as the parents. In the gospel, Jesus speaks about fruitfulness, that a tree is known by the fruit it bears. So we're going to show a video right now. It's a beautiful story about fruitfulness and the goodness to which Jesus calls us.
8 years old, I was at school and I had these friends of mine make fun of me. What they were saying was you're weird and different. They're not lying. Like, my whole family's white, I'm brown. So obviously there's some questions I have. I come home that day, I'm sitting on the edge of the bed with my mom, and she told me that day that they actually brought me into their family when I was a 7-day-old child, as a foster child. And she puts her arm around me and she says, "Son, I love you. I always have and I always will. Even though I didn't give birth to you, the moment you were placed in my arms, you were my son." But our 3rd pregnancy, 10 weeks old, we go in, have an ultrasound. There's a baby in the womb, but there's no heartbeat. It broke me because I was blaming myself for the loss of our babies because I still don't know any medical history. And the Lord just moves on my heart and He says, "It's time to look for your mom." I bring out this paperwork from, 8 pages from 1982, and I get on Google and I'm name searching. I come across this website for Steve Holt. He's a magician and ventriloquist from Spartanburg, South Carolina. See, the Holt name was the same as my mom, so I'm like, okay, what's going on? Something just said inside of me, go on his bio. And so at 27 years old, I'm meeting my birth uncle online that I didn't know existed. After that, I'm on a plane headed to Spartanburg, South Carolina. So meeting my birth uncle was a beautiful experience. He shared with me that he was one of 6, and all of them were mentally handicapped except for him. My mom was the youngest, and she only functioned as an 11-year-old mentally. When she was 18 years old, she aged out of the system and went into a mental facility. She became a ward of the state. She was actually raped by 5 men, and she gets pregnant with me. They see that she's showing, and then they start pressuring her, right? Because she has no money, no job, no family, no resources. So they're saying, you have to abort this child. But this 18-year-old woman, only 11-year-old capacity, said, "You know what? No, my baby's worth fighting for." So she literally ran away from the facility, hitchhiked, we believe, got to Chattanooga, Tennessee, made it to a women's shelter. And then by the end of her pregnancy, 9 months pregnant, she's living in a cardboard box behind this old grocery store in a little town called Whitwell, Tennessee. That just happened to be where this family named the Hollands that had 4 kids of their own and had this miscarriage and were longing for one more baby boy. So when they got this call that the 7-day-old baby got dropped off at Human Services, they were like, "We're not going to let another one die." But the fact that she fought for me and saw value in my life, I'm thankful to be here. In that moment, I was just like, man, she loved me. You know, those questions that you have, started at 8 years old. Why? I'm worth it. And then my uncle looks at me and he says, your mom's alive. She's 5 hours south of where we stand. And he asked me one question, do you want to meet her? So we jump in a car, drove 5 hours the next morning. So we get to this facility. If you think nursing home, that's kind of what it was. And I got to meet my mom. And my uncle decides, hey, let's lighten the mood a little bit because it's going to be potentially heavy, obviously, for everybody. And we didn't know how she was going to react. So he does this magic show in the commons area for all the residents. And we have a camera rolling. And I come around and I start singing Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace. And when I hit Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved, I lost it. Start crying because this woman that I'm looking at in the eyes, she literally saved my life. And she beautifully just finishes the whole verse.
You had a little boy when you were about 18. And you missed that little boy. His name is Stevenson William Holland. And this is him.
That embrace, even though, again, she's only 11-year-old mental capacity, she's still mom. She didn't see me as a 27-year-old man. She still saw me as her baby.
I love you, my son. I miss you so bad.
This is your boy.
He's ready to talk, son. I love you.
He's a good boy. Let me
I'm your real mama.
You are his real mama.
You better be my heart, son. I want you to know that.
And
I would have gave you that if I couldn't keep you.
My mom absolutely is my hero. This 18-year-old, 11-year-old capacity, like she valued life enough to, despite the odds of homelessness, mental, challenges, literally, no support. She didn't have one day of prenatal care. Literally, I make my living today sharing my story and people's minds have been changed. And I know that my worth and value is not summed up in how I got conceived or how I came into this world. So I'm so thankful for the time that I got to be with my hero, with Mama Glenda. I had 11 beautiful years with her. She got to meet all 3 of her granddaughters that they call her Gigi, Grandma Glenda. So Mama Glenda, I love you. And thank you. Thank you for life.
Son, I love you from the bottom of my heart. First time that you was in my belly, I sang to you, I read nursery rhymes to you. I'm glad that you're here today. And Mama loves you.
So there's a sequence to the 3 groups of sayings of Jesus in the gospel. And all these sayings are about the fruit of following Jesus. So first, Jesus asks, can a blind person guide a blind person? Will not both fall into a pit? Of course, the answer is yes, they will fall into a pit. So how do we avoid falling into that pit? We follow Jesus because he never falls spiritually. And that leads to the second group of sayings. When we start following Jesus, we want to invite other people to follow him so that they don't fall. And Jesus just cautions us before we start inviting other people. He says, first, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. Whenever we speak about abortion and euthanasia, there is a right and wrong, obviously, but we don't ever think that we're better than people. We're all sinners. So I'm a big sinner. I've told you I've committed mortal sins, but Jesus, his mercy, he's just changed my life. And I want all of us to know, and I hope we share with other people, Jesus died to forgive our sins. He wants to forgive every sin. Every sin can be forgiven. and he rose to give us eternal life. And so today, if there's anything in our heart, if anything comes like discouragement or despair or we feel condemned, you have to know that's not from Jesus. We might feel some grief, we might feel some guilt, which can come from Jesus, but not discouragement or despair. Third, we know we're following Jesus correctly by the fruit we bear. He says, "No good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit." When we're a good spiritual tree, we bear good fruit. 2 weeks ago, a good student in our school, a grade 6 student, he asked me, "Father Justin, what about abortion in cases of rape?" What would you answer? Don't shout out. What are you going to say? Someone asks you, a friend asks you, and you believe in life. What are you going to say? So I've learned over the years, thanks to groups like CCBR, so Cam Cote is speaking to us today at 1:30. And I've learned from people like Cam, this is how we answer this fair question. First of all, we all agree rape is a horrible sin, horrible trauma. So we all agree about that. But then we start asking this question, will abortion help the survivor heal? Will it take away the pain? And then why do we give the death penalty to the child and not to the man? Because in Canada, there's no death penalty for rapists, and yet we give the death penalty to the child. And the reason why I bring up this little question is because this idea of abortion in the case of rape, well, that's okay. That whole question has led to more abortions in Canada. It actually hasn't led to less, it's led to more, because our society thinks, okay, if it's allowed when there's rape, well, then you can do it for the whole 9 months. If we look at the chart of fetal development, in Canada, we can have a legal abortion up to 9 months. When the baby feels pain, the baby's fully formed, the baby is viable. That's bad fruit, and it started with that question. Now, on the other hand, when we look at, that video of the woman, the mother, Glenda, she produced good fruit. This wonderful son she has, and now a great Christian leader by God's grace, together with the adoptive family. And there's other great fruit. Whenever people see what abortion really is, what it does, their minds are changed, and that's really good fruit. So I'll show you this very quick video before what people think and after they see what abortion does. Notice how their minds change.
Both support abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
Oh yeah, I do, yes. It's an eye-opener. I don't think any kid, any baby, any infant, any fetus should go through that.
There are times when you do need abortion and it's up to that person. There's so many other options apart from abortion, and I know it sucks and the consequences and how it happened and why you might want an abortion, but there's always another option.
I personally wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't restrict anyone. I wouldn't tell anyone that they couldn't do it.
I'm about to cry. Sorry. No, it's because I'm 4 months pregnant, so seeing that was really sad.
Did you learn anything about the procedure that you didn't know before?
I didn't know that that's how that was scary to me. I didn't know that that's how it went down.
So now we are set to see what abortion does. In a few seconds, we're going to show a few graphic photos and one video of abortion. So feel free to close your eyes and look down. And parents, again, if you don't want your children to see this, please ask them now to close their eyes and look down, okay? So if you're all ready, you can close your eyes if you're not going to see. And, okay, we're ready. Now we can show the photos, please. And here is the video. You can keep your eyes closed.
My name is Dr. Patty Giebink. I've been a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist for over 25 years, and I've completed thousands of abortions. Today, I'm going to describe induction abortions, generally done from 22 weeks to term at 39 weeks. Because the child is so large and developed, an abortion procedure at this point takes 2 to 3 days to complete. And due to the risks and the need for monitoring, this procedure is generally done in the hospital or a surgery center. On day 1, mifepristone is given orally. Mifepristone blocks the pregnancy hormone progesterone, causing the lining of the uterus to degenerate, starving the fetus of vital nutrients and oxygen. Mifepristone alone doesn't necessarily kill the fetus, so fetal demise is often induced beforehand. This is often only done for babies 20 weeks or older. A syringe with a large needle is filled with a drug called digoxin. Digoxin is used to treat heart problems, but an overdose of digoxin will cause fetal cardiac arrest. A long needle is inserted through the woman's abdomen or vagina, and the digoxin is injected into the fluid surrounding the fetus under ultrasound guidance. The fetus doesn't die immediately, which is why this is normally done 1 or 2 days beforehand. For the drug to be more effective, the abortion doctor can also inject the digoxin directly into the fetus, targeting either the body, heart, or umbilical vein. Potassium chloride can also be used to induce fetal demise more immediately. The fetus usually dies within 24 hours of the injection of digoxin. If the fetus doesn't die within 24 hours, the injection can be repeated. Death is normally confirmed by ultrasound before the start of delivery. On day 2, 24 to 36 hours after the mifepristone, the woman is given misoprostol either orally or vaginally, causing her to go into labor. The misoprostol dose can be repeated every 3 hours up to 5 times. Usually, after 24 hours of starting the misoprostol, the woman will vaginally deliver the fetus. If the woman is having trouble delivering, she may be given a synthetic hormone called Pitocin to promote labor. Once the fetus and the placenta have been delivered and the bleeding is under control, the abortion is complete. Complication rates increase as the fetus grows. The major complication from induced abortion is incomplete abortion, in which pieces of the fetus and placenta are left behind. This requires surgical intervention. Other complications include cervical laceration, infection, hemorrhage, uterine rupture, and even death. Future pregnancies are also at a greater risk for loss or premature delivery due to abortion-related trauma, including injury to the cervix. The purpose of an elective abortion is to ensure the delivery of a dead fetus. On the other hand, if a baby is wanted and the mother's health is in danger, the obstetrician induces labor or does a C-section and will have a neonatal specialist present to take care of the baby. As I mentioned at the beginning, I used to perform abortions. At the time, I truly believed I was helping women. Over time, however, I realized that abortion doesn't just end a pregnancy, it ends the life of an innocent, unique human being. As I cared for women in my OBGYN practice, I also learned how abortion harms women. I stopped doing abortions and I became a pro-life advocate. I am proof that anyone can change, no matter who they are or what they have done. I invite you to join me and make a decision to protect the preborn. Thank you for watching.
Okay, you can look up. How many abortions are there done in the world every year? This chart, like we showed last year, on the right, abortion, according to the World Health Organization, happens, well, there are 73 million abortions every year, according to the World Health Organization. Now, on the left, you can see, according to Worldometers, all the causes of death around the world and their numbers. We see heart disease, communicable diseases, they're all in the millions, starvation, cancer, smoking, alcohol use, HIV, vehicular deaths, suicide, on and on. War is on the right-hand column. And then all the way down, I add boring homilies like last year. Now that is the official Vatican number. Just kidding. Now, all those deaths added up is 60.3 million compared to 73 million abortions. So This is why many people believe that abortion is the #1 moral issue of our world and of our time because it causes the most deaths. I want to thank the 163 people who have already signed up for 40 Days for Life. God bless you. We already have 72 hours out of the 100 covered. Thank you. It's a big sacrifice for all of you because of your schedules and the demands on your time. It's really amazing so far. I know a lot more people are signing up just this Sunday. And I hope you realize that your 1 hour of sacrifice will do a lot of good. This video, 1 minute, shows us the power of that sacrifice.
Celebrating a milestone, and that milestone is the 25,000th baby saved during a 40 Days for Life vigil that we know of.
She said, I came here this morning with my daughter. I begged her everything that I could think of not to have this abortion, but she was abortion-minded, and I felt like I needed to support her. She said when they drove in and turned in toward where the door was to go into the abortion clinic, the daughter looked at her and said, take me home, I don't want to do this. So the lady came back at about 10 o'clock, and she said, I had to come back and tell you that what you're doing is making a difference.
I've witnessed over 600 saves myself on the sidewalks.
I actually got to meet a saved baby. And so I got to hold the baby, I got to meet the mother. She was so happy that she talked to the prayers, that the prayers were there. And she just felt affirmed, and she felt a confidence that she didn't have when she went there.
Former abortion workers tell us that when someone like you shows up to pray in front of an abortion facility, the no-show rate for abortion appointments goes as high as 75%. So when you take a leap of faith to join your local 40 Days for Life vigil, of every 4 children scheduled to lose their lives in that abortion facility, 3 might live to draw their first breath.
So here we see a table of the open spots. So we're really hoping to fill the red spots. If you're able, you've got those this table, this chart in your pews. You can look at it on your own. Feel free, find your schedule. If you're able to take 1 or more spots, that would be great. And please sign up with a friend. We'll make sure that you're never alone, but it's always good to do so with a friend. So just imagine that 1 hour can be so powerful. We can actually change someone's life and help them encounter God's mercy. Jesus says, out of the goodness of the heart, the good person produces good.